Since the initial days of independence, India was a confused economy. The government kept the private players out of the big industries and operated them with monopoly. However, small industries were kept open to the private sector. In 1991, the country started economic liberalization and opened the big industries for the private sector. But the newfound modern Indian capitalism was based on favoritism, and government was more pro-business than being pro-market. Modi government is trying to make New India a rule-based capitalist economy, and in line with the same, a major decision has finally been executed. Air India has been privatized. This is a major accomplishment for the country as a whole. Hi and welcome. You're watching TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Atul Mishra, and in this video, I will tell you how the Indian aviation is about to get revolutionized under the legendary Tata Sons. Let's begin. The deed has finally been done. What was in the making for a long time now, what people of India were hoping for, what India's pride depended on, the Modi government has acted on it. Air India, the country's Maharaja as it is referred to, has been disinvested in. A money-guzzling, debt-ridden PSU mired with bureaucratic lethargy has been privatized, and this marks the beginning of what could be a revolution for Indian aviation. On September 15th, Tata Sons and SpiceJet chairman Ajay Singh officially submitted their final bids to buy India's flagship carrier, Air India. Now the wait is finally over. Tata Sons has won the bid for purchasing the national carrier, Air India. Besides 100% stake in the national airline, the buyer will get 100% of AI Express, a low-cost airline, and 50% of Air India SATS airport services. Life has actually come to a full circle for Air India. It was the socialist megalomaniac Jawaharlal Nehru who snatched Air India, then known as Tata Airlines, from Jahangir Ratanji Dadabhai Tata. J.R.D. Tata was not even informed about his airline being nationalized. Now Tata Sons have finally got ownership over their father's legacy, and they will make full use of the opportunity to turn the carrier's fortunes around and make it a major global airline. According to a Reuters report, the government was losing 200 million rupees every day to run Air India. Air India so far has accumulated a debt of 700 billion rupees or $9.53 billion. PM Modi intended to sell the government's entire interest in Air India since voted to power. The loss-making airline has been kept afloat by a bailout since 2012. The debt-ridden carrier employs more than 10,000 employees. The cumulative loss of the company is 70,000 crore rupees, and the loss for the fiscal year 2019 was 7,600 crore rupees. Air India had a bloated headcount of 214 employees per plane, while Singapore Airlines has 160 and British Airways has 178. Air India, with time, had imbibed socialism as the way forward. It offered up to 24 free tickets each year to each of their estimated 24,000 employees, and even the extended families could use it. In 2007, the government of India merged Indian Airlines, the domestic carrier, and Air India. The scale-based economics behind the merger failed miserably. Ever since the two entities merged in 2007, Air India suffered heavy losses every year. In April 2012, the UPA 2 government announced a bailout package of over 30,000 crore rupees for a 10-year period to keep the national carrier afloat. Air India is India's major airliner, which connects almost all parts of the world to our country. It has a vast fleet of jets. As of August 2021, Air India operates no less than 127 aircrafts, which includes fleets of Boeing 777-300ER, Boeing 777-200LR, Boeing 747-400, and Airbus A320neo, among others. Air India has a vast network whose potential sadly remains untapped. However, now that Tata Sons are back in control of the airline, things are about to make a much more positive turn for Air India. A fundamental problem which plagued Air India for decades was its non-profit-oriented business approach. Being a national carrier which received bailouts from the Indian government time and again, Air India never really took things seriously, which is why its debt-ridden situation only turned from bad to worse. With the Modi government in place, a consensus was reached upon that bailout packages for Air India are simply unfeasible, not to mention ineffectual. The airline would not change its outlook to business, and things would ultimately remain the same. However, now that the airline has been privatized, Air India does not have the government to bank on. It must perform or perish. Difficulties like out-of-date aircrafts, inability to pay its employees, and lack of adequate services to passengers added to Air India's deterioration. Furthermore, the rise of private airlines like SpiceJet, AirAsia, and Indigo have only added to its woes, since these private players started offering competitive airfares and better services than Air India. If there is one corporate group which can turn around the fortunes of Air India, it is the Tata Sons. Air India was snatched away from J.R.D. Tata, and now Ratan Tata is bringing the airline back to the empire. There is a sense of emotional value which the Tatas attach with Air India. And then the Tatas have the potential of making Air India the country's global airline offering, which not just Indians fly on, but people from across countries use for air travel as well. Tata Sons is also keen to bring low-fare airline AirAsia India under the Air India umbrella after its bid for the state-owned carrier gets processed. According to the Economic Times, at a later stage, full-service carrier Vistara is also likely to be a part of a combined entity if Singapore Airlines, its 49% shareholder, comes on board. So the Tatas are effectively planning to construct an Indian airline behemoth out of Air India. Needless to say, the group has a plan, and once it gets effectuated, there is a high chance of Air India becoming a shining success story for the country, which would go on to propel the rise of aviation in India. India's aviation sector is all set for a revolution. The Tatas must implement their plan for Air India with utmost care, as the future of Indian aviation has now come to depend on them in a big way.